Oh, hey, I was just messaging. Hi, Poliglota Africano. ¿Cómo estás? Let me go ahead and add my friend Diane into. Diane, hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Chica?
I'm good, thank you.
Nice. Oh my God. Well, it hasn't been that long. I talk to you all the time.
Yeah, we talk quite often actually. Whenever I can catch you, because you're a busy lady.
Yeah, sometimes. Wow, Chica. So we are live. We're live already.
Hi everyone.
Hello. So I'm just waiting for some people to get in here.
Okay.
And
Estoy muy nerviosa, de verdad.
¿Estás nerviosa?
Claro que sí.
Ay, Dios mío, no tiene que ser nerviosa, chica.
Es que casi nunca hablo español, de verdad. Okay, got the comments here so I can see. Hi
Good.
everybody.
That's what I was going to tell you to get comments too, or get it so you can see the comments. So, perfecto. Trying to position my camera. Okay. So, Chica, first of all, guys, this is my friend Diane. We've been friends for, oh my God, how long? Like 4 years?
Yeah, yeah, like
Maybe
4 or 5 years.
5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, first of all, guys, so this is not your first time on my channel.
No, it's not.
No, because Diane was on my channel, I want to say about 4 years ago when I was showing her as my student. She was actually doing promotion for my website. So I'm happy to have her back on here today. We actually keep in touch. We talk all the time. I keep planning to go where she is in the UK. She keeps planning to come here to America. So we're just trying to figure out what works for us. Pero nonetheless, let's go ahead and get started. Diane, go ahead and introduce yourself. Introduce yourself in Spanish si quieres.
Ok, pues primero lo primero, soy Diane. Sí, estaba una estudiante de AMBI hace muchos años. Tengo 24 años y estoy muy nerviosa, así que por favor, todos ustedes me perdonan porque no hablo español. Pues hablo español, pero no tengo mucha confianza cuando hablo español. Así que give me patience, guys, give me patience. Pero sí.
Well, Diane, you're just so funny. She's being very humble, pero she speaks really good Spanish. As you can see, ella habla súper bien en español, pero
Gracias.
sí, pero entonces, hello everyone. Hi everyone that's tuning in. Hey Jenny, Active Flow, Coach Check Girl, everybody. So Diane, my friend, she's from the UK. She's from London, and she learned Spanish. So I want to first get into that in Spanish. I have my questions here. Sorry, I'm looking down. So actually, first, before we get into speaking in Spanish, could you explain to the audience one of the opportunities that you had when you went and lived in Spain?
Yeah.
In Spain, and tell them about the program you went through.
So I worked in Spain as a language assistant with the British Council. So basically, that's just fancy for saying I was a teacher in a school. I taught English to year 2 and year 4, which is, I'm not sure what grade that is in America, but it was like primary school kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, I taught English. So I actually wasn't allowed to speak Spanish in the school. It was only English. And I did that for about 10 months before I came back to the UK. And that was after I graduated from university.
Nice. How did you like it? Did you do the au pair, right?
Yes, I did. I stayed with a family as well. That was interesting. It was good. I loved the kids. I stayed with a family with 3 girls, 3 young kids. And I loved the kids. I still love the kids. We still speak. So I did love my girls, but it was definitely a different experience.
Okay, sí, muy bien. Yeah, España, I was about to say this, but todavía. Look, I still haven't had the pleasure of visiting Spain. So todavía no he visitado a España, pero it's in my future. I do plan to.
Yes. Hay que visitar.
Sí, ¿verdad? Bueno, pues, ¿hay otro país que desea vivir?
Sí, pues, primero lo primero, quiero regresar a vivir en España, probablemente otro estado. Yo no quiero, pues, puedo vivir en Madrid otra vez, pero quiero estar cerca de la playa y no hay playas en Madrid. Así que quiero regresar a vivir en España, pero if I had the opportunity, pienso que sí. A México, la República Dominicana, claro que sí.
Sí.
Claro que sí. Y quiero visitar a Colombia también y Cuba, porque mi abuelo nació en Cuba.
Oh, qué bien. Entonces tu abuelo nació en Cuba. Claro que sí, tiene que visitar a Cuba, ¿no?
Claro que sí.
Sí, pues entonces, that's nice. Yo creo que todo el mundo dice que quiere vivir en República Dominicana. Yo tengo una amiga que vivió allá por, yo creo, 3 años, algo
3
así.
años.
Mi amiga
Ok.
Nippy. Ajá. Pues, I don't know why. I've never really thought of living in DR. I've always wanted to live in Colombia and Puerto Rico.
Really?
There's those two, yeah. Colombia, Puerto Rico, or that's I just gave it away. That's actually probably where my next place I'm going to live is going to probably be in Colombia or Panama. It depends, one of those two
Okay.
countries. Pero
Okay.
sí, chica, muy bien. Entonces, yo tenía otra pregunta para ti. ¿Cuál fue la razón por la que decidió aprender español?
De verdad, siempre he amado los idiomas y cuando empecé a la escuela secundaria, como la mayoría de gente, empecé a aprender el español y desde ese momento de verdad sabía que quería seguir aprendiendo el español. Me enamoré con este idioma y I haven't stopped.
Yeah, that's good. See, I already know this story, guys. So
Sí.
nice, Diane. So, question: How I always ask everybody this that come on, like my last friend, how long did it take you to become conversational in Spanish?
For me, I would say it probably took me, I would say about a year and a bit, but that was because I was a very nervous speaker. Like I remember, I don't know if you remember, but when I started taking classes with Amber, I wouldn't even speak in Spanish. I was so nervous. I had such a complex about speaking before I was perfect. So silly. But for that reason, it took me about a year and a half, I would say. Like I knew it in my head, but to be able to like communicate that with other people, it took me about a year and a half, I would say.
Okay, a year and a half. That makes sense. I mean, that's
Mhm.
usually around the time. I mean, for most people, not most people, for some people, about 6 months. I know it took me to be conversational,
Mhm.
but the fluency maybe about 2 years,
Mhm.
going on 3 years, right?
Mhm.
Pero something that you said in the beginning really contributes to that. You said that you don't speak Spanish a lot right now, like you barely
Sí.
speak it, but
Yep.
and that's important when it comes to speaking another language. So if you don't use it, you lose it, right?
That's it.
But what you do know is still stuck in your head,
Mhm.
especially because you lived in Spain for some time.
Mhm.
So you had time
Mhm.
to converse every day, think in
Yes.
Spanish. So let's see what some of the comments say.
Yeah, I would love to.
Let's see. Oh, there's a lot of comments. I don't know which one to start with first. What you see the difference in the way people in Madrid approach Spanish than, let's say, another Spanish-speaking country?
Oh, okay. If you're talking about like the accent, there is a lot of differences, and that took me a while to adjust to because most of the conversations that I was having were with people who lived in like America or Central America, so it was very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the words, like for example, like even something simple like caminar en Madrid es andar y cosas así, carro, coche. Y I was not like accustomed to that. So it took a lot of adjusting. But with time, you kind of get used to it.
Yeah, sí. Also, por supuesto que sí is used more, which is proper.
Mhm.
Okay, see, yeah, I don't know anything about Spain. Diane was there. But yeah, let's see. You guys have any questions for Diane? And in the meanwhile, I know I have another question for you.
Ask away.
So what are some tips that you would give people? Well, first, before I ask you that, let's answer Rebecca's question here.
Oh yeah, I did. I did have to use vosotros conjugation. But when you're when you're just living your life, it's a lot easier to kind of integrate it. But as soon as I came back, I dropped that. It was too difficult for me. My head, I couldn't keep up. So I was just like, yeah, we'll kind of stick with the kind of the Spanish that I learned beforehand. But yeah, they do use vosotros there.
I was wondering that too. That's why I clicked on her question. Yeah, because I don't know. It probably would take me a minute to adjust to the vosotros conjugation. But I don't know, because it's just the aish at the end of it. So, and I think for ER verbs, it's the aish, right? Isn't it EIS and an EIS? Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I didn't learn Spanish using the vosotros, but I'm just trying to, you know, think of the part that the teacher always X'd off. They always had like the almost and an X on. So
really,
yeah, that's how they teach here in the States in the school system. They just put X there.
Wow.
So yeah. Anyway, so I was going to ask you, what tips do you have for viewers that want to learn Spanish?
I would say, as everybody else has said, because I stay watching Amber's videos, is you need to immerse yourself first and foremost. And if that doesn't mean moving to another country, it can be as simple as changing your phone into your target language or Spanish, if we're speaking about Spanish, watching Spanish TV, finding Spanish speaking YouTubers is 100%. I would definitely suggest doing that. And for me, I would say incorporating it into your daily life. So for me, every day when I wake up, I read Cosmopolitan España, so I can get new vocabulary in a way that's digestible for me, so it's not too much. Yeah, so I do that every day in the morning whilst I eat breakfast. And actually, I would say a lot of people I know are not really like grammar focused, but for me, I really had to study quite a bit to retain the information as like free. So I would say I invested like time in like grammar books and actually studying, and I haven't done that in a while, which is why my Spanish is really broken right now. I speak more Spanglish than Spanish right now.
But you know what? It's interesting. You said you read Cosmopolitan. How do you say it?
Cosmopolitan
España. That's pretty cool. Like, because that's basically an example of turning something you like to do into Spanish. It's like you turn your world into Spanish. So if you're normally used to, let's say, reading gossip stuff online or whatever, read it in Spanish. You know. And even if let's say that website doesn't have a Spanish translation, Google Translate now have this ability to translate a web page. So sometimes I'm a little pissed off because on my website, I post blogs specifically in Spanish now.
Yeah.
And I'll go look at my blog just to see the numbers, and the whole page is translated without me asking for it to translate in English. So I'm like, oh no, people are going to look at the blog and think I put it in English, but I didn't.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, that's really good. Do you have any tips for people that are thinking about possibly moving to Spain? How was that transition for you?
Because I live with a family, I think it's a bit different. It was easier for me to kind of segue into the community because I already had like people kind of by my side. So I think it was a bit different. But tips, as far as tips goes, I would say find a class that you enjoy. One thing that I did a lot when I was in Spain is go to bachata classes because sis loves bachata. Yeah, so I did that to kind of get me in the community. And also I'm a Christian, so I went to a Spanish speaking church as well. And I met a lot of people there. Yeah.
That's cool. That's what when I first started learning, not first started learning. No, well, I guess you could say when I was kind of trying to advance my Spanish speaking, I joined a Christian church But I'm not Christian, but I joined the church because I always feel like if in Spanish churches, for some reason, everybody's so friendly, they're so welcoming.
Yep.
And that, for me, that was my plug to get connected to the community, like the different events that nobody else knew about,
Yeah, of course.
So by me going to that Spanish church, it created immersion. Like someone here just said, it created the immersion. I made friends. I got invited to these Latino events, and it literally placed me where I could practice the language. So that's really good, Diane.
I've really tried. I think once you move, to be able to integrate yourself with local people within that community is the best thing that you can do, because it's easy to kind of try and find people that make you comfortable, which normally are people that speak your language. But I would say try and go against that instinct and integrate with people that are learning or that know the language that you're learning,
Right. Guys, so you hear that. Like, it's like your normal activities that you do. Try to, like Diane just said, you need to try to include the Spanish with it. So if you are a churchgoer, hey, why don't you take out one Sunday out of the month and say, this is going to be every third Sunday is going to be my Spanish church Sunday, where you go to a Spanish church and congregate with them. You're into dancing, like Diane says, she's into bachata dance or dancing, period. Why not take a salsa or bachata or merengue class and try to take one in the community of that town, right? So that you can be forced to speak Spanish, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's really good. Someone said that you speak really good Spanish, Diane.
Thank you so much. Honestly, that really touches my heart because I'm really nervous. I don't think you guys understand. Like, I hardly speak Spanish, especially now that I'm back. So to hear that, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, she is pretty nervous. Ella me dijo antes que es muy nerviosa. But you don't have any reason to be nervous. Like, you speak really good. So
gracias. Es que yo no tengo un acento, así que I can convince people that I speak better than I do. Porque yo no tengo mucho acento. Es solo por eso, de verdad.
Sí, pues, do you think part of you being in Spain, did you pick up a Spain accent, do you think?
I didn't pick up the accent, but I did pick up a lot of words. So sometimes when I speak, I do have people like what, where are you from? What dialect are you speaking? Because I'll be speaking with like a Cuban accent sometimes, especially if I watch a lot of like series or programs. I'll have an accent from somewhere, but I'll be saying like Madrid words. So it can get a bit confusing. But as far as the accent is concerned, I would say it's pretty neutral.
Okay. Cool. Someone says, please don't be nervous.
Thank you, Melanie.
So tell me, what are some differences between, well, I guess there's obviously a cultural difference between London and Madrid, clearly. But is there that much of a difference? Because apart from the language, we know the language and the culture, but as far as like the living, the price of living, the atmosphere, would you say that people were pretty much the same?
Well, I would say there's really two answers for that, because I lived in the north of Madrid. Literally, I can see the mountains from my window. So yeah, in the area that I was living in the north, it was very different, very, very different, especially because I was one of maybe 2 Black people in the area. So
wow,
yeah, it was very, very different, very different. So I would say that there was a lot of stairs, that kind of a thing, but for the most part, I did my job. The kids loved me, so it wasn't really a problem. The cost of living was definitely cheaper than in London. Definitely cheaper.
Oh,
London is so expensive, so expensive. And in main Madrid, I would say it was definitely a bit more similar. The only major difference I would say is the food.
Okay.
Yes, like
definitely.
Very healthy there. Very, very healthy.
Definitely. I'm sure the food is is different. So you think Madrid, like in Spain, they eat more healthier than where you're from in the UK?
Definitely. And
okay.
I'm Jamaican. Like my family is Jamaican. We eat a lot of different food. And where I was, at least in the family that I lived with, it was very like from ground to mouth, very
Mhm.
like fresh food, um, a lot of veg, a lot of fish also. That really wasn't my vibe. I'm allergic, so that was different for me. But very like, yeah, just I would say very fresh food, not much. Like we over season, especially my culture, we over season food. So it was very different.
You know what? Now that I think about it, because I know your family's from Jamaica.
Mhm.
So you think there's similarities between the food in Spain and the Caribbean then?
Not
No?
even what?
Oh
No.
my gosh, I would have, you know why?
No.
'Cause I'm thinking of like in Latin America and
Yes.
Jamaican food is very similar. So I keep
Yes.
forgetting. Okay, Spain is Europe.
Completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different. Like I think
Okay.
that was the biggest like adjustment for me.
Mhm.
It took the longest to adjust to like the food and not having access to things that I would usually use, you know?
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Jaleesa, I have a question here for you. How long did it take each of you to comprehend native speakers? For example, if you were at a store and heard someone speaking Spanish, when did you say, I understand them? That's a good
That's a
one.
great question.
You go first.
Um, I would say for me it's a bit different because I only ever had that experience when I moved to Spain. Like here in the UK, I never had an experience of like going to like a Spanish speaking store or anything like that. So for me, it was as soon as I moved because I'd been speaking Spanish for so long before I went to live in Spain, you know?
Okay, got it, got it. So no, at no time in the UK were two people talking in Spanish and you said, "Oh, I understand them."
I would say probably in like my when I graduated uni before I left
Okay.
to go to Spain, because that's what it was literally before I left. It was so weird. Like all of a sudden, there were just Spanish speaking people all around me, like on the tube, in the shop, even like on campus. And I was like, where are all of you people from? Because when I was looking for people, there was nobody here. And
Yeah.
now there's so many people. So I would say probably my last year of uni to when I like just graduated.
Okay. And so how long
Yeah.
did that take?
Well, I started learning with you in my second year, so about a year.
Oh, cool. Okay. That's not long.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I'll answer your question as far as for me, how long did it take for me to comprehend native speakers? Um, I get what you're saying because your first time being around a lot of native speakers is when you went to Spain.
Yeah.
Me, I would say my first time going around, well, no, because I spent a lot of time in Mexican town in Detroit, Michigan. So I was constantly around native Mexicans, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're not too hard to understand. Their Spanish isn't as fast. I would say maybe about before I could like understand them when they just keep going, maybe about 9 to 10 months, maybe a year. So I would say about
Yeah.
a year as well, because I could speak, I could converse after 6 months. I wasn't fluent, but I can have those basic conversations, basically how
Mm-hmm.
my Chinese is right now, how I
Yeah.
can have those basic little conversations.
My Chinese is not basic, but that's a different topic
My,
for a different day.
I think my Chinese is basic, but you know when I say basic, I'm referring to like talking about shopping, talking about eating, talking
Fair enough.
about the weather. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that those type of basic. Like we can't talk
Mm-hmm.
politics. I'll be like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what's interesting though, when I went to Puerto Rico for the first time, I want to say in 2009, maybe 2009, 2010, because my aunt was living there. I went there and I stayed with her. And funny enough, I cried almost every day. I didn't cry in front of them, but I cried because I felt like I did not understand anything that was coming out of Puerto Ricans' mouth. When I first went to Puerto Rico back in 2009 or 2010, I couldn't understand nothing, Jaleesa. Nada. And I had already been speaking Spanish for a few years, but I could not understand what they were talking about. It's simply because I had never heard Spanish sound like that. You
Yeah, of
never,
course.
it was so broken. Like Buenos Dias turned into Buen Dia. And I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, sounds like Buenos Dias. Or como estás? Be like, como tú estás? And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, my feelings were so hurt. So I didn't understand them. So I would say, when you say native speakers, it really depends on the culture, what country people are from, because Cubans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans talk very different than
Very different.
Colombians, Costa Ricans, Mexicans, Guatemalans. They talk different than them. And they're the hardest to understand, I think.
I agree.
Not in that way. It's just their dialect. You know,
Yes.
it's just like people from Jamaica, the ones
Mm-hmm.
that have that really thick accent. They can't cut it off. So a lot of us in the States, sometimes we have to tell them to repeat themselves because we don't know what they're talking about. They're talking English. You know,
Yeah.
right?
Of course. Sometimes when I speak to my own family, I'm like, what was that again? Repeat that one.
Someone said, "Oh, they're Jamaican too." Nice.
Hey, we love to see it.
Is your name in Russian? I think that's like a Russian character.
Yeah. It is.
Someone wants to know, do you listen to podcasts?
Only recently, actually. I had a really hard time kind of finding Spanish speaking podcasts that weren't like teaching Spanish podcasts, if you get what I mean. Like a lot of people recommended like radio in slow Spanish and stuff like that. But I just wanted podcasts from people who just spoke Spanish, just in general.
Yeah.
So now I listen to Chompita Chronicles. I listen to that almost daily, but they're old podcasts. And I'm looking. So guys, if you have any, please let me know. Please do let me know.
Could you say that again? What's the name of the one you're listening to now?
Yeah, it's called Chompita Chronicles.
Chompita Chronicles. Okay. I'm gonna have to look that up too. Probably fun.
Yeah.
Is it kid friendly?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, because my daughters, they're kind of, Cielo, she's really the one that speaks Spanish a lot. And she's always looking for little stuff. I don't know. Now she wants to learn Japanese. Like she's begging.
Oh, bless her.
Like, so I don't speak Japanese. Could you learn something that Mom already know how to speak? She's like, I want to learn Japanese because of anime. I'm like, okay.
Oh, she's so cute. They're both so cute, man.
Thank you. Let's see. So someone wants to know, what was your motivation to learn Spanish?
What was my motivation to learn Spanish? Honestly, I think once I started, the goal was always this will be a part of my life, period. Like when I started in school, I loved it so much. I loved the sound of it. And I watched a lot of YouTube back then, of like different Spanish speaking countries. And I was like, no, this has to be part of my life. And I don't want to just be able to watch it. I want to partake in the culture. So from then on, I was like, yeah, I have to learn. So for me, it was quite simple. There was no like, oh, for this person, or to be able to like, obviously to communicate with people, but in their own language, I would say.
That's pretty good. Because some people, they have, everyone have their different reasons. So I pretty much like yours. You have some people who learn languages for different reasons. Like for me, initially, it was because, for one, I thought, hey, I'm pretty good at it. No one else in my class are passing these Spanish tests. And then it was pretty much for work. Once I figured out like, oh, I can actually, this could be my reason for not going to college. At the time, I'm in college now, but I pretty much used my language skill to further my career. And so that was my reason for really learning languages. And even now, it's just because of jobs and the opportunities that you get from learning languages, and also like making connections. Like I have students now, most of my students I tutor, they're all professionals. Like I have right now I have mainly police officers. These police officer men, they find my YouTube and they book me like, hey, I need to talk to these people on the street. So I have a lot of cops that are my students, and I have a few doctors and a pilot and a couple flight attendants. So my students now, they're learning Spanish solely for work, for their profession. I had a student before, actually a few of them were learning Spanish because they were trying to holler at Latino women. They were planning on going to Mexican countries. They're like, I want to get me a Latina. Amber, help me out. How do I speak? So, I mean, everybody have their own reason for learning.
Definitely.
Yeah, for learning languages. So that's pretty cool that you explained that. Okay, someone said, everyone's commenting on your accent.
Oh, wow. I'm so surprised. I don't share the same feeling, but thank you guys so much.
Oh, you don't like your accent?
It's not that I don't like it, but to me, it's not that interesting.
That's
It's not
because
that.
you're there in the UK.
Yeah,
You all talk the
exactly.
same.
Exactly.
You come here, oh my God, everyone's gonna be like, you're and you're a black woman too. They're gonna be like, oh my God, her accent. They'll fall in love with the accent. I think I said that when I first talked to you. I was like, oh my God, your accent's so
Yeah. Yeah. I remember a lot of my comments on the other video that I did with you were like, oh my gosh, her accent.
hmm. Let's see. Someone said, I'm going to college for Spanish because I don't fully know what I want to do. Oh, so you're still in high school right now. Well, you'll figure it out, I think.
Well,
Yeah, well, usually people don't really know what they want to do in college until what, their sophomore year or even junior. I mean, I
trust
don't
you've
know.
got time. You've got time, sis.
Yeah, let's see. My boys said the same thing about Japanese, but we speak Spanish up in here. Up in here. Because I'm the only serious.
I am done.
She said they play with Japanese and Duolingo. You know what? I think maybe that's a good idea. I'm gonna get Cielo Duolingo for Japanese.
Yes.
Someone says, how long should you study a day, meaning time-wise? I'll let you answer that since we're talking about your story.
Mm-hmm. I think that if you're watching Spanish TV, you're listening to Spanish music, you're always kind of studying anyway. But for me, what has worked is doing an hour in the morning before I do anything else. Yeah, I would say that's been it every weekday, because like weekends, me, I like to rest. So every weekday for about an hour, I would say, but make sure you're always exposing yourself to the language.
Exactly. I was just thinking as you were saying it, exposure. As far as me studying, I don't study. Guys, I'm so bad at studying. Like, I was just saying, like, to myself, I wrote it down as a goal that I need to create little flashcards and just try to really take studying serious because I want to advance my Mandarin speaking. And I always say, like, with each new language that I learn, I always find a different method. Not every technique will work for another language. You might find sometimes that the way that you learn Spanish, you have to take a totally different approach to learn Japanese or learn Korean. Because it's so many different rules with each different language. So, but that's just my opinion. So yeah, I don't study, guys.
But you took classes, right? I've seen you've taken classes for some of your other languages, right?
Yeah, like for example, I actually study at an international language institute here in Atlanta, and I got my certificate for Portuguese as an advanced speaker.
Okay, I didn't know this.
Yeah, you know what? I just appeared on I want to say she's a podcast. Her name is Hablamos Español. I don't know if any of you guys know her, but she interviewed me on her setup. And I know it's called Hablamos Español. It's a Black lady who speaks fluent, and she does podcasts in Spanish for other people. So she interviewed me, and now I think about it, I think that's what she was asking me. If I ever taken formal classes, and I have. I think I said on the podcast that I didn't, but I thought she was referring to like in Spanish. But yeah, I study at an international language institute here in Atlanta for Portuguese. And then like right now I take a university level Chinese course online.
Come on.
And thank you. And I'm prepping for this topic, which is a test of proficiency in Korean language. My teacher thinks that I'm good enough to do level 2. I think it's only 3 levels to it. So we'll see. I'm just getting all my little certifications and certificates.
Yeah, I hear that. I think that's the next thing that I have to do for Spanish. Because I don't have any like certificate or anything to show my proficiency. So I think that's definitely what I'm going to do next as well.
Yes, it's good, Diane. It actually helps. So I know a lot of language professionals, they like to believe, or I should say, let's say professional interpreters and translators, they like to believe that companies look at the international or the nationally known certification. Like, for example, if you want to be a medical interpreter, a lot of medical interpreters that are state certified, They would like to believe that hospitals only hire state certified interpreters. That's not true. You can literally get a certificate or certification from any university, any school that issued them out. And if you present that to whoever's hiring you, that's good enough, because they don't really know the difference and all that. They just want something saying that you're proficient. So, So someone says, how long did you self-study before had interest in a tutor?
How long did I self-studied for about a year before before Amber was my tutor. Amber was my first tutor, guys. She was the first person outside of like secondary school where I did study Spanish. So I would say about a year, but that was literally only because I was in college and I wasn't earning a lot of money. So there was no way for me to kind of pay for my own tutor. So yeah, I would say about a year.
Yeah, I was so happy when she became my student. I'm like, wow, because you already had a foundation in Spanish. So I'm like, this is simple, Let's see. Someone else had a question. Let's see.
Excuse me.
Ebola. That's Cuban. I think that's Cuban for
like, what's that, right?
Yeah, que bola. Here go MJ Gutierrez, the Cubano. What kind of job do you have that you need to learn Mandarin? Well, first of all, I'm a flight attendant, so any language I learn is already a benefit. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I forgot to mention too, I'm also a part of this interpreter program here in Georgia. So it's this Georgia University program for interpreters at Georgia State University. So I did submit my information for that. So that's only like a 7-week training. So yeah, it's a basic interpreter program. So I guess for any language. But yeah, that's just, girl, I'm bored. I'm bored. This is how I have fun learning languages, getting certifications, and doing all. It's just fun for me.
I hear that. Not more than me though, because we're still out here in quarantine. So
yeah. Let's see. How do you plan on let me click on it. How do you plan on integrating the language into your professional life?
For me, I blog. I have my own blog, so that will be back in March. And I write in English and Spanish on that blog. So for me, that's about as professional as my Spanish goes. But as far as actual work-wise, I don't really use my Spanish like that. So it's mostly in my blog.
Okay, that's right, guys. That's right. Diane has a Christian. Is this the Christian blog? Okay, I wasn't sure if it was separate from a different one. Yeah, so
no.
Operates a Christian blog, and like she said, it'll be back up in March. But I'm going to share with you guys her Instagram so that you can go and follow her. Someone else asked, hola, Renee. Let's see. Thank you, C Beauty, CBB. Do you read Chinese? No, I do not read Chinese. I can read Korean. So Korean, I can read and write Korean and speak Korean. I only can speak Chinese. I can't read or write it, but I am learning with this course. So it's really hard. Let's see. I was just practicing Chinese. Okay, let me type her Instagram here for you guys. Instagram.
Sorry guys, it's really hot.
And she'll keep you updated with her.
Yes, I definitely will.
Yeah, when her blog is back up. So Danne. Let's spell the last name.
Cathlleen. I can type it as well. Just so
type it. Yeah, if you could type it for me.
There you go. It should be like right at the bottom.
Did it pop up? I don't know why that doesn't work. Oh, there it is. Oh,
you got it?
Yeah. Okay, so I have Kathleen. That's right. Instagram at Diane.
Yeah. Kathleen, Cathleen.
Wagwan, Diane.
Come on with the Jamaican accent. We have to it.
Wagwan, man. I sound ridiculous.
Listen, it's not the worst that I've seen or heard. Trust me. Yeah, that's my Instagram, and I'll keep you guys updated. It's a faith and lifestyle blog where I basically just talk about navigating faith, especially as someone who is in their 20s. I'm 24. And just like helping people specifically with their identity and confidence as well. That's really my heart, you know?
That's right. That's really good. Yeah, Diane is really a nice person, guys. Ella es muy amable, simpática. She's
Gracias, amiga, de verdad.
Really a kind person. So someone to get to know as well. So definitely follow her on Instagram, Diane Kathleen. You know, it's so funny because I have a friend that used to always ask about you. I won't say his name.
I knew. Okay.
I'm not going to say his name, but
I know who you're talking about.
I think you know what I'm talking about. He was on my channel years ago. He's one of my friends in New York. he was always asking about you. He's like the London accent.
I'm actually so done. I cannot. I was a baby back then as well.
Huh?
I was so young.
Yeah, I think you were. Yeah. You were quite young.
I was so surprised. I was so surprised that he was even checking for me because I was literally so young.
Yeah, it's the accent, girl. I'm telling you, like, you guys go crazy because he wouldn't leave me alone. He's like, yo,
I'm done.
Leave her alone. Yeah, I remember telling him, I was like, no, she doesn't just talk about that Christian life. She really is.
I'm about it.
Like, she's a Christian and she's a good girl. Like, so I will not give you her information. Okay, John wants you to speak Spanish. Él quiere que hables español.
Ay, Dios mío, puede hablar un poquito si quieres.
Sí, bueno, let's see, una pregunta en español. Dime sobre tu música favorita.
Mi música favorita es de Celia Cruz. Ella es una estrella de verdad, la reina de todo. Para mí es la reina de todo, de verdad.
Sí, verdad, para mí también. Ella es la reina de salsa Cuba. Afro salsa. How do you say that?
I guess.
Afro salsa. Salsa africana.
Oh, there we go.
Salsa africana, sí. Ella es la reina.
Celia Cruz.
Bueno, entonces, tú piensas tú me dijiste que en tu futuro deseas regresar a España, pero no quieres vivir en Madrid, ¿verdad?
No, yo no sé. Puedo hacerlo, pero quiero estar cerca de la playa, así que yo no sé si Madrid no es like my preferred place.
Si no prefieres Madrid.
Sí.
Una pregunta, ¿nunca has vivido en Valencia, España?
No.
Ok, that's Chanel, es mi amiga Chanel. Ella vivió en Valencia. Tú vivías en Madrid.
Sí, solamente en Madrid.
¿Visitaste otra parte de España?
Sí, visité a Toledo, pero es un pueblo básicamente. Toledo y a Benalmádena para vacaciones y Gran Canaria también.
Ok, está bien. Let's see. Una pregunta más. Dice, okay, do you like the app? Hello, David from Montreal. Do you like the Abdul Lingo? Have you ever used that?
I have. For me, it was a little bit repetitive, especialmente porque yo tengo un nivel un poquito más alto en español. So I would say for beginners, Duolingo is great. Also, another app called Memrise. I really did like Memrise. Yeah, so I would say it's good for beginners, but if you're a bit of a more intermediate speaker, I would say Memrise is probably better for you.
Okay, perfect. Memrise. Someone said, did you already talk about routine? Look like, yeah, her study routine, I think you said is an hour in the morning.
Sí.
Right? Good. Muy bien. Someone says, did you try reading comic books in Spanish?
I didn't. I do have actual books. Allá estaba leyendo el diario de Ana Frank y un libro se llama La vida es una verbena, pero libros en España like son muy caros, así que I didn't really buy books like that when I was in Spain. Yeah, it's really expensive. I don't know why.
Wow, los libros en España son
Yeah.
caros. No sabía eso. Bueno, pues tú dijiste que España es más caro que UK.
Pues los libros sí, pero like transporte y todo eso no.
Okay, sí, ¿verdad? Pero para vivir en España es más barato que
Sí.
Okay,
Sí.
entiendo, más económico, entiendo. Pues, okay, one last question. Let's see. Well, sorry, but what does she do for that hour?
That's fine.
When you're practicing, they're saying, what does she do for that hour? So I guess the hour when you study?
Yeah. As I said, I learn more by like reading. So I'll go through the grammar book, and then I might like watch a video on YouTube, like a 5-minute video to see how that grammar is used. And then I'll just try and use it. Like I might try and record a video using the grammar that I just learned. That has really, really worked for me. Or I'll record myself on my phone trying to make sentences using the grammar that I learned. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what I do in that time.
Thanks for answering that question. Yeah, that's actually, I don't know why I didn't think to ask you that either.
No problem.
Everyone studies differently. So definitely, I think books are a good way to learn too. I know in the beginning I didn't use books, but like I said, with each new language I learn, I do something different. I'm learning now, okay, I need to use books. I need to use books, especially if I'm learning to read it and write it too. So it's
of course.
It really helps. So that's pretty much it. I think that's all I have for you as far as questions. And I wanted to introduce you to my audience so they can have hope and inspiration. Like, you know, and also I want to show people my actual friends, like my circle, my circle of friends, what they look like, what they sound like. And guys, my friends all speak a different language. Like my circle of friends.
Literally.
And the one thing we all have in common, whether we come from a different culture or not, is we all have learned, self-studied another language. That's something we all have in common. Me, Diane, Chanel, Nibby, Omar, Nika Flo, who else? I'm forgetting. Yenny, that I just showed you.
Yeah.
Interpreter. That's something we all have in common. Something interesting that we all have in common too is they all found me on YouTube.
Yes. I was one of the originals. Trust me.
Yes, like all my close friends now, they all found me from YouTube. I don't know why I befriend you all that watch me all the time. Well, because the thing is, I spend a lot of time with Nibby was never my student, but Chanel was one of my students. And like you were, and even Omar and Yenny, that showed you guys the medical interpreter.
Yeah.
The thing is, in my sessions, we spend a lot of time together.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time together. And then even sometimes we would just get on the camera and just talk like friends.
Yeah.
Like we didn't do a lesson, we would just talk. So we became really close. But so my goal now, like this year, is to kind of like introduce my circle to you guys, to inspire you. I'm not a unicorn. I'm friends with other people that did it too. They learned the language, they've moved abroad, they've done it all. So hopefully you guys are enjoying meeting my friends here on my channel. And, that's it, guys. I said I'll keep this less than an hour. So, and let me put it up one more time, Diane's Instagram. You guys can go and follow her.
Yeah, please do. Please do. I do speak in Spanish on my Instagram as well sometimes. So you can catch me speaking Spanish there as well.
Diane Kathleen. It's her first and last name on IG.
Yep. That's it.
So that's it, guys. Make sure you go follow my friend Diane.
Thank you.
Sí, y nos hablamos y nos vemos next time.
Sí, otra vez. Quiero regresar.
Diane, don't hang up. I'm going to end don't hang up, okay? And I'm going to end the podcast. Okay, guys, adios.
Adios.
Put comments below after this video uploads in like 40 minutes or 30 minutes. Go back and comment under the video. That pushes it up in the algorithm. You guys did it last time. Please do it again. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.